Welcome back to an episode of Tusk and Tradition. I actually just filmed this whole video and I didn't even notice the file was corrupted, so it didn't save. It ended up being 20 minutes, which is probably a sign that was way too long. So I'm going to try to make it shorter this go around. But South Carolina weekend, below the line of what I thought I wanted to see from Alabama. Don't get me wrong, super happy to win the game. It's always way easier to watch film after a win to get better than after a loss. So that's first and foremost, happy to win. But where I kind of thought we were going to be, what I thought we were going to show, it wasn't there. And, credit to South Carolina. This is a really big game for them. It was their homecoming. I think they, had circled this game before the season started when they were highly ranked, and this was going to be a big game no matter what. So they played like it. Hats off to them. But we got to get better if we want to be team holding the trophy and all this. Getting right into the game. Early on, Lenore Sellers was, I knew he was going to be the X factor, and he showed it. Hard to bring down, hard to tackle in open space. I talked to my South Carolina buddies after the game, and they were talking about how they were, upset with him because of that fourth quarter fumble he had. But he was their team. And early interception we had with Lee, that's not his fault. It was a little dump pass to the running back in the flaps, and it was perfectly on the money, and the running back was playing hot potato with it, and it bounced right into Lee's hands. And then football's a game of inches because Lee was going down, was going to fall, and our middle linebacker, Jefferson, was able to hold him up, and he was able to get in the end zone. And as you see how we struggle with the football, who knows what happens? Let's say we get the pick right there and we go down to the 20. I'm not convinced we're going to go score 6 there. Might settle for a field goal, and who knows what's going to happen then. So game of inches, holding our guy up there, him scoring 7 points makes a big difference in that game, especially with how it ended, the score and everything. So that early on, didn't have much life on offense. Like I said, didn't get the running game. Was really excited about this week because the opportunity I thought we were going to have to get the run game established versus a lower in the ranking South Carolina defense, but it just wasn't there. We weren't able to impose our will on them. Hats off South Carolina for playing the game they did, and putting their playmakers in positions to make plays, running a lot of stunts up front, running a lot of tight coverage, trusting their guys in one-on-one situations against our receiving room, and they always seem to be making really athletic and smart football plays. Early they were able to, their first drive, able to go on the field, and like I said, you try not to get too concerned with the first drive just because teams have 12 to 15 plays before the game even starts that they know they're going to run. They kind of know the kind of defensive coverage they're going to get, and you see a lot of times teams can come out scoring early. So they go score early. I try not to think too much into it just because of their ability to scheme, and they have a good coach on their offensive side. So nothing much to really cry over that. They don't get 7, they get 3. So early on, don't read too much into it, but our offense couldn't get anything going against their defense. We're lucky to have that pick 6 to get points on the board. And then there's some back and forth there where not much was able to happen. Towards the end of the first half, we're able to see our offense get some kind of life, start putting plays together. It was fun to see Caden Proctor again in the backfield. Not sure that was the play call for the big fella. I think it was first and goal, second and goal from the 5, and we went kind of, an A-gap power. I don't think that's his game. It's kind of a head-scratcher. If it was 3rd and 1, maybe from the 5, I'm all for it, but yeah, asking him to get 5 yards there might be a little much, but always fun to see him in there. A few plays later, get to 4th and goal, and this is when everyone plays coach. Do you go for it? Do you not go for it? And luckily, we went for it. I'm always going to push this team to go for it. Trust our defense to do their job if things don't go the right way. So I like going for it. It worked out in this scenario. We'll see later in the game where it didn't work out, but here it worked out in a big way. We go up 14-6 before the half, and first half kind of is what it is. You kind of want to wash it, get the second half, make whatever adjustments you can. I was thinking to myself, I'm able to go back and watch this game in its entirety a few times now, and that's why I don't have notes. I can kind of recite the game in my head right now. I'm able to go back and watch the game. So at halftime, in real time, I was thinking, what we need to do differently now is the fundamentals. Let's tackle. Let's be in open space, make good plays. When we get to Sellers, let's bring him down. That's kind of it on the defensive standpoint. On the offense, let's put a hat on a hat. Let's get the run game going. I feel like I sound like a broken record saying that each week, but I just keep waiting for that to happen with this O-line to kind of, find themselves. And if we really want to be a championship caliber team, that's going to have to come in some form of fashion. Halftime is kind of what I'm thinking. First half, get the ball. Interesting. South Carolina won the coin toss and elected to receive. Usually, when you're the home team that's not favored or just not favored in general, you're gonna like to kick first, present your defense out there, and then wait to get the ball at halftime. But heads up to them, they wanted the ball, they went and scored. They got their points in the opening drive. So coming out of half, we get the ball, get a first down early. Ty makes a really nice play to make it second and short. And it was funny because during the game, they said, we've been talking a lot about Sellers here in the game, and we haven't talked about Ty's athletic ability. People forget he was the number 2 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. So he has that. We've seen flashes throughout the year. Showed it there, make it second and short. Whenever it's second and short, it's the offensive coordinator's, dream time to take a shot. And so we do. Almost ends up getting intercepted. Luckily, it didn't. South Carolina made a lot of mistakes too. Not only do I think we played, below the line, I think they didn't capitalize on some of the times that we were trying to give them the football. Third and short, we don't get it on a run play. 4th and 1. Like I said earlier, I love going for it. Game of inches. Inches as in, that early pick six we had with Jefferson holding up Lee to get in the end zone. And here's another game of inches where, we had some backside pressure off Caden Proctor with Ty. And Ty, maybe getting the ball off just a hair earlier than he wanted to a wide open Ryan Williams who, got his hands on it. Was a tough catch, sure, but that's a play that you're going to ask, top 1, top 2, 1A, 1B receiver to make. And he just wasn't able to come down with it. So these drops kind of seem to be not going anywhere. We keep talking about on this show, and I know everyone else does, that when can we expect him to really step up and be the guy that we're kind of seeing Bernard be? Really coming into the year, I knew what we had in Bernard, and I was thinking we would take some steps with Ryan Williams where he would be kind of the go-to playmaker. And we're being harsh on number 2 right now, but it's really been Bernard, and he's our go-to guy, and it showed later in this game that he is the player that's going to get the balls and the touches in the crucial moments. Like I said, on a second and short, offensive coordinator, let's take a shot. After a sudden change, offensive coordinator, let's take a shot. In this case, it was South Carolina's offensive coordinator taking a shot down the field. A great throw by Sellers. And just like that, it was 14-6, a little bit of momentum. The offense looked good. It's 14-12 now. South Carolina's lining up to go for 2 to tie this ball game. And this is where it gets interesting. South Carolina had to burn a timeout here. I know that, and you could see the displeasure on the sideline with Shane Beamer. And then, usually you have 5, 6, whatever plays that you've had the whole year installed for a 2-point play. And I just didn't think this was the best play call in this scenario. You can see ours later in the game, which was a great play call, a lot of creativity, a lot of options. This one didn't seem great to me. Sellers did what he could, though. Tight window, made a throw where his guy or nobody gets it, and it was off the fingertips of actually Lord Noah Sellers' little brother who once made that play. So they don't get it. We hold on to a slim lead, but nothing changes here with the offense. Can get anything going in the fourth or third, and really most of the whole second half, except for one drive. We got to punt the ball back, and it's same old. Can't make tackles. Misfitting here and there, bad angles, and they're able to go down the field. We miss a pick, and that lines them up for a field goal, which they hit. They had missed one earlier, so they hit that, take the lead, and we're starting to do things that teams do when they lose. So we get the ball back in the fourth quarter, and we're about to get the ball back. Don't even get the ball back. Get the ball back in the fourth quarter, down 15-14, and then we, at this point, everyone has gotten really close to the field, getting ready to storm the field. When you're the road team, you want to go into a stadium and suck the life out of it. You want everyone to beat the traffic, get out of their seats, and the only people that are getting out of their seats are the people from the Upper Bowl coming down, getting ready to storm the field against Alabama, a big-time win for South Carolina if that would have happened. So the only time people were leaving was to come down, and so now that field level is even louder. So who knows what happened on the play? I haven't seen anyone talk about it yet. I'm sure it'll come out, but we don't have miscommunication with Cole pointing to the ball, and it hits off our gunner position on that play, and it's a live ball. South Carolina jumps on it, fourth quarter, down 1. They have the ball on our side of the field, and here we go again, tales all the time when teams start to lose. There's certain things you do. You play bad below the line. You miss crucial penalty, or you have missed. You have penalties, which we did. You miss crucial plays like that pick that would have saved 3 points, and you kind of give the ball away, which is right here in big moments on this fumble on the punt. So we were starting to go down that checklist and just not everything and check mark and check mark and check mark. So the concern was starting to grow in me, and they go down the field and a lot of nice RPO plays, and like I said, Sellers is the X factor, and he proved it right on this drive, and he went down, and they score with early in the fourth quarter to go up by 8, and we get the ball back, and now I'm thinking this can get on. This momentum that is building in the stadium, the loudness can really start to feed. The defense can start to feed off of, and the worst thing you want is when our offense starts to feel that belief. The longer we let South Carolina hang around, the longer they're not just their coaches and players, but the fans start to believe. And the worst thing is when Alabama starts to believe that. So we're getting close to that point, honestly. No matter how mentally tough are we, there's someone on the sideline starting to think something like that. But hats off to our guys who have been around, the playmakers, Ty, Bernard, even Jan a little bit, offensive line giving Ty time, Ryan Grubb making the play calling, Coach DeBoer holding everybody together, making plays to go down the field. We get to their side of the goal line. We ran a play that was a very similar play to what we ran against Ohio State in the 2020 National Championship with Steve Sarkisian as our offensive coordinator. It was a little bit different how we schemed it, but we schemed it back then for Devontae Smith, and now we schemed it to Jeremy Bernard. So like I said earlier, getting the ball to your best player's hands. He's able to come across, a lot of eye candy going the other way, and he's wide open for a little easy catch and into the end zone. Now, that drive took about 7, 8, 9 minutes of game clock. So it went from early fourth quarter down 8, now you're down 2, get ready to go for 2 with about 2 to go. So a lot of 2s in that scenario. Kind of felt like if you didn't get this, you had to get a 3-and-out stop, and that's just a lot of pressure on the defense. So this was a very crucial 2-point conversion to get. Like I mentioned on South Carolina, you usually have some plays you've installed for this scenario, and our install was a lot better. We had a nice play drawn up here. Ryan Grubb was deep in his bag, having Jeremy Bernard line up and the Wildcat, Colin Hike, giving the ball on handoff, kind of speed out to Ty, and then this is where the creativity happens. You have Ryan Williams coming back to Ty to kind of fake a reverse, and now it's kind of an RPO where Ty can try to run it himself, or he had, Josh Cuevas kind of running a flap and easy pitching catch to Cuevas, and we're tied at 22 with 2 minutes to go. So now giving the ball back to South Carolina, still just really nervous now, late game scenario. We haven't really proven we can stop them yet. This is what I mean when I talk about guys who have been there making plays. Because now you have Deontay Lawson, who's been around the program for a while, making a play here while Keenan was holding him up, and Tim Keenan gets that ball out. And this is what I mean with guys who have been here 4 years, who have poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for the program, stepping up and showing how much it means to them to not let this game slip away like we've seen happen last year. So big time fumble right there that we're able to hop on, and now you kind of want to end the game with a touchdown. I hate trusting a kicker. I'll always say it. Don't trust a kicker, no matter who's back there. It could be Will Reichert. I don't. There's a lot can go wrong. Not only can the kicker just miss, you got to have a good snap. You got to have a good hold. Got to have a good angle on the ball, get enough that's not blocked. So just a lot can happen where I'd rather just put the ball in the end zone and, like I said, get the ball to our playmakers' hands, and that's exactly what we did on 3rd and 10, get the ball to Jeremy Bernard, and he was able to scoot down the sideline and get in. And South Carolina let us score. I saw a lot of people who don't know football being like, well, they need to investigate South Carolina. They let Alabama score. Like, the football IQ has to come in. They let us score because they wanted the ball back. They were basically saying that we like our odds of winning down 7 with the ball, going trying to score the game, than letting y'all bleed the clock out from our 10 and 5 and kick a chip shot field goal, no matter what the operation says. That's what they were saying, and so they went with that. They hedged their bets, and it didn't work out. We got a good after we scored there, go up 7. We got a really good kick. They muffed around for a second, good kick coverage, and dropped them inside the 10. And South Carolina had no timeouts, and so one defensive stop right there, 1 play, 2 plays, and that was all she wrote with a 7-point victory for the Tide. I don't think a bye week could come at a better time. Just really 4 weeks of emotional ranked games for SEC opponents, never been done before, to an ultimate trap game for South Carolina. You come away with a 7-point road victory where the crowd was loud into it, and I wanted to see an Alabama loss. So perfect time to get into a bye week. A lot to get better. I know I sounded pretty negative on this, but I just had different expectations how I thought this game was going to go for us. But like I said, always happy to win. You can call me a spoiled Alabama fan, but really happy just to win the game. But a lot to get better on, a lot to improve, and really get figured out before LSU comes to town. And we don't really quite know what we're going to see in LSU. So that'll be fun to talk about. We'll have a bye week this week, so I'll probably touch on a video kind of where we're at in the season, the standpoints, what's in front of us, and then I'll have another video next week, a little closer to LSU game, kind of breaking down that. Hopefully we'll have more answers about, who's their head coach, what they're doing over there in that program. So we'll figure out and we'll get to that. But happy to win this game for South Carolina, and we'll keep going on. We'll get into LSU very soon next week. Roll Tide.